All right, we are live and I'm just switching on the recording button. Okay, super. Welcome, welcome to Unlocking EQ Brain Skills series for 100 days, covering 100 topics, about 30 to 40 emotional intelligence brain skills to activate your left brain and right brain. We will go deep and wider in each of these skills. And if you stay till the episode end, you will also understand how to access awareness quiz bundles, which will also help you to go further into this particular topic or any skill that you want to start learning and applying. My name is Brinda Kalyan Raman, and you're watching me live in YouTube. There's also a Spotify podcast happening in the same topic, but in a different version with fast-paced action strategies telling you which brain is this, and then you can immediately put that into action. And I'm also bringing up articles in a very storified format to learn emotional intelligence, um, like a story. So you will know that, as if it's playing your scene at home. If you're in India, if you're an Indian, and what is the scene in Indian homes, and how do we feel as a mom, as an entrepreneur, when we juggle our roles and in the heat of everyday run, how do we apply, and what are the situations happens, and what makes us react or respond. So it'll be very interesting to follow me on Substack to know how you can bring emotional intelligence into your daily transactions. Okay. We are on day 16, and let's see what's the topic today. But before that, if you are watching me online, let me know if I am audible, visible. So that way it'll be easy for me to know that you're watching me. And all right. So you know by now there are skills that is not being taught, and there are things that we do in school which is not, we have spent our entire youth at school, but these things were never taught, neither at school nor at family. But we do practice emotional intelligence. We do display being emotionally intelligent, um, irrespective of any age or any gender, any location. We all do, and we see live examples around us. In our own selves, we must have been emotionally intelligent, and there are few mastery experiences in our own life that you may want to look back. So in this episode, there is a clear-cut format. If you have been watching me from the beginning, you will know that we'll go through step by step. And one of the interesting item is about talking about a case study, which is very familiar. Nonetheless, we have real people around us, okay? Be it our own child or our parent or adult around us. It could be a teacher, it could be a neighbor, it could be anybody who demonstrates emotional intelligence in your life, okay? It could be you also, because emotional intelligence is the wisdom which is already in us. We just have to tap that power and bring that to our use whenever it is required. In the meantime, I would also like to understand which one of the skill that you liked most and it resonates with you when you started applying in this past 15, 16 days that we have been meeting, or if you have been listening to my podcast in Spotify. Just let me know what is the interesting skill that touched your heart, or something that you already have a strength in you. We will be happy to know, and it'll be an inspiration for me to just keep doing what I'm doing, because I'm on a mission to help 1 lakh women achieve freedom by using emotional intelligence and digital entrepreneurship. So right now we're discussing about emotional intelligence in depth for 100 days, and the next series is about how to become a mompreneur. So from mom to mompreneur. Okay, so that'll be the most interesting, because that'll have an business aspect to it, monetary aspect to it, but then without foundation, without keeping yourself fit, okay, personally, mindset wise, health, well-being, fit. you won't be able to take initiatives, more initiatives, and handle it really well, because the intention of um, contributing to your family or to yourself or to your society, anything you want to pursue passionately, has to go in tandem. It's not that you dismiss your relationship and you just be successful in what you do, outside. Or it's not that um, you only want to take care of this and you don't want the money aspect of it. We want everything, but in a very harmonious way. And that's the trickiest part. And EQ skills will let you know those strategies where you can lay your foundation very strong. And on top of it, you can start building whatever you want. Okay. So in my community, my students go through first emotional intelligence concepts through tools. We generate reports for their brain skills to know what their existing talents. So we don't dismiss the existing talents. We take into consideration. In fact, with that existing talents, we actually work for their area of improvement. By the time they improve both their left side and right side, their logic and emotional brain working equally in the mid place, that is where they are operating emotional intelligence. So they will not only be able to manage themselves, they can also manage people around them. And that's all is required. Once you know how to manage these both component, any project you take, any initiative you take, you'll be a natural leader. Okay, with a lot of resilience, with a lot of emotional insights and a lot of passion, you'll be able to follow through your purpose without slipping through. So initially, we are building awareness and ability to manage your own self and other people. And with that, both skill, you will be able to direct your emotion, passion, knowledge, expertise, everything to others. Unless, these both are worked through, you will eventually come back to the loop. Sometimes when it is draining for you, or when things are not working, you will anyway fall back, reflecting on what you missed and what are your strengths and all that. So it's best that you keep working on these two constantly, as it's like going to gym every day. You will naturally be fit. On that note, today we're going to see problem solving skills for mompreneurs to succeed. Okay, my audience is busy mom, because I am a busy mom myself. I am a working mother. Being in this part of the world, we don't have support systems. It's very luxury to get any help from outside. So no outsourcing is possible. So either we learn to delegate, automate, or delete it. Okay, that's the only way out, in order to automate our life and make some freedom out of time and stress. In order to pursue anything beyond our capacity, very important to free ourselves with stress, from stress and time. The more time you have, if I can gain 2 hours extra in my day, would I not be able to do or pursue my passion? That's the whole question. Would I not be happy doing it? Would I not be happy spending extra time with my family, doing what's needed for them? And what about stress? Suppose I'm free, I'm peaceful, I'm calm and happy. I'm able to manage my own well being. And so I will be able to 10 times take steps what is needed for people around me. If I'm able to do both here, I would naturally be having the ability to serve other people also. I will naturally become a leader myself. So that is exactly what we will go through in the series. But through understanding your left brain and right brain, because brain is the um, people say emotion seated in heart. Okay. And now gut brain is also coming, because gut also has a nervous system attached, and then it has its own brain, because that's where intuition happens and all that, gut feeling and all that. But biologically, that is also helping, no doubt about it. But brain is the center locus point of control mechanisms, right? And exactly the left brain and right brain, or the places where the emotion actually happens, the process happening in anything related to emotion processing, it all happens in the back of the brain, that is limbic. And anything with to do with decision or logic driven, it's going to happen in the front brain. In fact, the prefrontal cortex is the place where the decision making is arrived, your executive center. That is where you're going to weigh the correct and wrong. That is the whole difference between the ancient species and the modern evolved species, because this is where is our differentiation. If a person cannot think through straight, okay, maybe that is a parable, So thinking through straight is like this. Considering both your left brain and right brain, considering the midbrain activation, that is where you're going to take your emotion into consideration, but using your intelligence to drive that. If your emotion is driving your intelligence, it's going to be the other way around. But sometimes it is important when you want to create something, when you want to be, you know, on a vacation or do something adventurous or take some risk, it has to be your intuition and emotions working together. Not always that is again be driven with your logic, because without logic, we are not stable. We cannot, the foundation will not be stable. So it is that important. But without emotion, without intuition, the logic will not be stable as well. So it'll be one sided. When you're involving emotions, and where are emotions? It's not just with the people around you, right? It is also with the within yourself. You also have emotion. We're also human being. So any human being, including you or any other person outside you, there is an emotion involved, which means it is important to address and be intelligent with that. And that is essentially what is called emotional intelligence. I hope this introduction is pretty clear and it's good enough for anybody who's watching new, and it's emotional intelligence itself is new. Then you will have an idea how, via activating your left brain and right brain, you can actually start accessing your emotional intelligence brain. Okay. And in this series, you will get enough input, picking up one skill, going wider and deeper. And that's the beauty of learning from, Women Freedompreneurs Hub. I'm the founder and creator of the entire community where I cater to only women, especially busy moms. On that note, let's see what are three things you're going to, develop in this 40, 50 minutes of sessions. Barring the introduction, the session will take 40, 50 minutes because I'm going to be covering 6 steps. Okay, let's see what it is. First of all, thinking creatively, it is important in order to become a problem solver, because you have to take into consideration of both the left side and right side. And in a bit, I will tell you, whenever I speak about strategy, I'll also tell you which side of the brain are we really talking about. That way you can, easily relate. So finding innovative solutions when faced with difficult roadblocks in business, and strategic planning. So mapping out clear steps to tackle any challenges and keep moving forward. Balancing and thrive. So you see, the first one is right brain, and the second one is planning, so which is more of logic. And the third one is balancing and thriving, that happens in the midbrain. Okay. Managing business growth and family demands like a pro, because family is with full of people with emotions, the dynamism, and there has to be a logic also. Otherwise, everybody goes through different directions and there is no convergence. There cannot be one rule. There cannot be one routine for anybody. There cannot be one meal. It'll be 10 different meals, 10 different asks. So it is important to find that balance. Okay. Now, when it comes to entrepreneurial problem solving, we have been seeing problem solving as a skill. If you remember, go back to the, I think around 11th or 12th episode of this entire 10 episodes, we will be dwelling upon decision making skills as such, and what are the components for you to become skilled at decision making. Because you being a great decision maker, or you are making a smarter choice in life, just not coming with one skill. Maybe you are good at analyzing data. That is not the only skill which will help you take a effective decision. There has to be a problem solving. There has to be, for which there has to be critical thinking. There has to be a risk tolerance. You need to be able to evaluate the risk underneath. There has to be a resilience coming in. It's okay, you made a mistake. Your decision was earlier wrong, but you should be able to quickly adapt and thrive using the uh, feedback mechanism, taking into consideration of multiple perspectives, innovation into consideration. There are so many subsets. That's what we're going to see. And every episode is interconnected. It's not like first few episode, it's no way connected with this episode. No. As we grow, as we go towards the 100 topics, you will see how beautifully everything is connected. Because left brain and right brain, it is not tangentially existing somewhere else. Your left brain is here and right brain is not the other place around. It is in you only. it is constantly activated itself. It is up to you, it is up to an individual capacity or patterns as to which side of their brain they're actively using. All right. So this series is aiming to bring your left brain and right brain to the mid portion so that you can switch very flexible. If it's not extreme, if it's going to be extreme or logical, it's going to take time for you to come to the midbrain whenever you need to consider emotions. And if it's going to be extremely emotion driven, it's going to be a little bit tough for you to come back to understand the logic behind what you're doing, what other people are saying. On that note, defining entrepreneurial problem solving. It's a little bit different, right? Because at home, it's a different scenario. You may be relaxed, maybe it's not urgent. We don't all the time firefight, but it's not so with an entrepreneurial effect, right? It's so demanding. Market, you'll have to consider market, you'll have to consider the policies, you'll have to consider the technological disruption or blocks that you may have, infrastructure, whatever is needed for you to operate it, and the resource building, the people who are involved in it, their emotions and their needs and likes and dislikes, and your customer, and then your vision. You have to make sure that everything is in focus to that long-term thing, and your profitability, cash flow, and how do you manage your money, and where are you investing, and what are your, other initiatives. So many things that you have to consider. On that note, both analytical thinking, that is analyzing and first of all identifying and analyzing, and then creatively thinking, finding innovative solutions is a key skill for entrepreneurial problem solving. You just cannot go with the trend or ride a trend all the time. You'll have to consider the trend and also be able to flexible. You just cannot be stuck with the conventional methods. You'll have to be adaptable. You'll have to mend and consider the new ones, right? And also align with your value system and your long-term goals. It's just not the craze of bringing up new ideas all the time and then implementing it, exploring, testing. You will also have to consider the results of it, review whether it is aligning, and then if it is working for every all aspects, then you're going to take that as a thing and then keep doing. On that note, it doesn't give you results immediately, so you'll have to get into the mode of looking at the challenge into opportunity. So you'll have to have the foresight to see how the market will turn around, what are the twists and turns, and where is the market driving, and where can you see your customer in 10 years time, and where do you see yourself, and how ready are you in order to take those steps. Okay, everything is left brain and right brain, right? So importance of problem solving skills. So although we have seen the episode earlier, that was the introduction of problem solving. Right now, what we are doing is problem solving in different dimensions. Suppose you're a mother. One, your problem solving skills as a parent inside the family could be a little different because your approach needs to be different because you're dealing with emotions, majorly. There are certain things you'll have to drive logically because I told you without logic, it won't be stable. At the same time, emotions also have to be considered highly, you have to be emotionally insightful because you're dealing with a lot of people with dynamism, different age group, different likes and dislikes, different stage of life. Biologically, they're different. What happens outside? Entrepreneur, I just told you there could be a lot of moving parts. And if you're a teacher, that could be entirely different too. You see? And if you become a leader, that is an entirely high stake, decision making role. So there needs to be some dynamics in all these ways. But essentially, the tools and skills are going to be the same. All right. So importance is without this, the business failure due to be see, business failure due to unaddressed challenges is a key here. If you cannot solve the problem as and when it occurs, if you just pile it up, it'll definitely be exposed. It'll definitely expose you. Not all problems needs to be solved then and there, but then if you do not have that capacity to address it, it'll definitely show up. And with skills, what you can do is you will be able to navigate obstacles. You know that problem is existing, or you may have solved it earlier, so you're just going to model the same. In fact, you will avoid getting into the same problem. If you are that proactive in problem solving, you will not, you will, you will only be a one mistake learner. Okay, that is a motto for life and for business, wherever. And you will be able to adapt to changes, find growth opportunities. Now, some statistics for you. You know how important it is in entrepreneurship. Forbes report says 80% of entrepreneurs see problem solving as key to success. And Harvard says companies with strong problem solving cultures, they grow 20% more likely to innovate and adapt to change, which means, they will be tuned to welcome problems and they will face it and they will be able to solve it. And that is the solve it and stand there testing, for the all testing times. And their way of building their customer base itself could be problem solvers, right? An Entrepreneur magazine says problem solving abilities contribute to 75% of entrepreneurial success stories. Stanford research says a recent study found that effective problem solving skills can increase productivity up to 40%. In fact, for this, problem solving abilities contribute 70% of entrepreneurial success stories are. I again remember Jeff Bezos. I've already told this, but I think it stands, right there at my heart. There are few personalities I really admire for their capacity as a leader, as an entrepreneur. Everybody started from scratch. Everybody has to start somewhere. And their ability to build empire, like in their own industry and expertise, extraordinary, right? I always wonder what brain is more active in them. And in one of the interview some years back, I heard this. One of the journalists is asking Jeff Bezos, Amazon CEO, the founder of Amazon. So he says, how do you pick up your critical, people at the leadership position? And how do you rely on your team? How do you know that you have picked up the right person? And he says, he looks at the person's history, the trend of the ability to take decisions at critical times. So he looks at the trends. People fail, but then are you able to resilient? Are you able to consistently deal with problems and be able to bounce back from it? That's all he says. So it's not the count of how much is their success rate. Of course, that matters because that is when you will know how smart they were. But then what amount of, because not every problem gets solved, right? And it's humanly not possible. But what about the habit of solving the problem? What about the trend of, embracing people's problem and taking initiatives to deal with it at least? And critical thinking in it. So that is more important, right? Their own experience could pile up as a mastery experience. They may not really would have, of course, out of 10, 5 or 6 could be success, and the rest of them could be a failure. But then their success would have taught them an experience, and their failures would have taught them double experiences. So that's what is matters. So if you can understand problem solving skill through this principle, type in the comment box that problem solving skill is emotional intelligence, which means you're going to cover all components. So it's not the only skill. You're just going to, you're just training your one of the muscles to become emotional intelligence. There are other things maybe strengthen you. You may be a critical thinker. So that can also help you solve problems. Or you may be a person who takes emotionally, you can process emotions very quickly within yourself and other people. So that could be one of your talents. So you're just going to leverage that. In terms of adversities, you never know. People, if it relates to the process adversities, you may have to logically drive. And if it is going to be emotionally charged up situations where people are in adverse situations like pandemic, right? It required both the brain. I mean, it involves lives of the people. So it's important that you need to understand the safety and security of the nation and the world. So that is where your emotional insight will be backing up your logical reason. Okay. But essentially, it is important to practice both the brain. And who needs this? These are just examples like startup, growing entrepreneurs, and small business scales. That is not leaving the large scale industries or high stake, decision makers. But these are somebody who needs it day and day in and day out until they reach a sweet spot where they would have gotten their mastery experience. With that, they can learn. But until such time, we can always learn from other people's mistake also. We don't have to do everything by ourselves and, all the time. So we cannot be in the firefighting mode. We really have to perform with stable mind, for which you need to be able to be creative and take a pause or delegate or outsource. All right, all that will come. Now tell me what could be the benefits of it. Okay, there could be many things like driving innovation. It's going to foster creativity and new business ideas, leading to develop unique products and services in market industries. So market strategies, and then improving resilience. We have seen enough in good enough inputs on resilience building, be it a parent, be it a leader, be it an entrepreneur. In general, what is the logical resilience and emotional resilience? And I've also given you guys a freebie exercise for women, especially if you're watching this and you're a busy mom. I have designed a 21-day program where you can practice becoming a resilient mom. Within that period, you will know how you can build your momentum, and also be able to build your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being, and become a total resilient person at the end of 21 days. And after that, you're going to be unstoppable. So there is also a link given below to let you know what are the other mothers who have gone through and their experience. Okay. So you being an effective problem solver will also help your business adapt and thrive in the face of unexpected challenges. Many times you can even avoid that. Proactively, you may have an estimate and planning really different, and you will also have a backup plan. Whenever such thing happens, because it could be unexpected, you will know how to bounce back quickly. Okay? Considering all the fluctuations and downturns. Encouraging growth. So creating opportunities for expansion into new market, product lines, and customer segments. So this is going to build customer loyalty, demonstrates a commitment to solving problems, effectively fostering trust and repeat business. Improves decision making, leading to more informed and effective decisions, reducing risk and optimizing outcomes. Enhances employee morale, creating positive and empowering work environment, boosting employee motivation and engagement. And it is also going to give you a lot of good. See, this kind of skill also can be applied right from the time you are picking up a potential. Maybe the resources, you'll have to also spend time on choosing your resources effectively. It could be talent, or it could be budget related planning, or it could be collaboration, partnership, or it could be deriving company policies. At any point of time, you need to be having a foresight to see and proactively create a backup plan. On that note, you'll also have to consider the existing people employee morale. That is also important, that you don't jeopardize the existing ones and then pick up only the new ones, and new policies and all that will come into place and disturb the existing uh, thing, existing vibes or existing infrastructure. While you attract the new talent, it is important to position business as innovative and proactive, attracting top talent seeking to contribute to dynamic environment. They need to quickly be able to adapt, right? Your recruitment process itself has to be that way, that you need to be clear with your values and policies. While you're getting geared up for innovation, innovation demands a lot of risk. There has to be an evaluative risk. And even if there is any mistake, it shouldn't cost. Uh, there has to be a balance of evaluating. You just cannot jump into impulsive decision making or impulsively picking up some talent. Maybe you like that person or you're biased. That should not disturb the morale of the existing environment, as well as boosting competitiveness. Provides businesses with a distinct advantage in a competitive marketplace. If you're able to quickly solve the problem, the customer would like to come to you. That is the reason there are certain brands have become giant, because not only they have been existing for a long time, gaining their popularity because their expertise is to solve problems, or it could be a new brand emerging, the newly started or founded company which exactly solved that problem for that customer. If you rely on the trend of solving the problem, then it could be a starting point for you. But for sustainability, you will have to figure out what could be the problem that you will consistently solve. Because when you invite a customer, it is ideal to see their problems in all directions. So that is how the problem solving skills, it's just not in the founding stage. It is not only in the growing stage. It is also there as we evolve, right? Even the leadership at that level, even if things have been working really long, but something like pandemic could come. So you just cannot say that we're always, we already got our place in the market, and then we're not going to solve or innovate anything, because it is a fast-paced environment, and after pandemic, the world is not anything like before. Everything in the world has changed. And so it has to be our mindset and our systems, our ideas. So we need to be having that adaptability and be able to thrive in the market, not just survive. What could be the challenges in problem solving? What is stopping people to get into this skill? Or what if they overuse this? Okay, that's the angle that we can look at it. What happens when we overuse is time consuming, right? Sometimes problem solving itself is time consuming. So we'll have to consider the time bandwidth. You just get one person cannot. That is why when it's a industry or a company or an entrepreneur, there has to be a team effort, because one person humanly not possible. If your business is dependent on only on you, it's not going to happen. It system success, gives you success, but sometimes people fail, systems don't fail. That is a parable in business, environment. So it is important to build that kind of a system where you know it automates your thing, right? It is always best that if you can automate a lot of things, that's going to solve the problem. That doesn't mean you devalue the human presence in that. Maybe you can even use the human, as a component of automation. But essentially, what's happening here is you just cannot keep solving the problems all the time, because one, you'll have to get into action, otherwise, it's going to consume your time, because complex issues may require significant time to resolve, especially those involving multiple stakeholders. So, data analysis and all that factors have to be considered. That is why it's a when we say high stake professionals, they should have that ability, agility to be able to rapid problem solving. We saw this episode just recently. I would highly recommend you to go and watch that episode, because that will exactly tell you what is the skill set and components needed to become fast problem solver. So it is not just enough that you're a problem solver in this day and age. You need to be fast and agile with right kind of mindset, right kind of energy, right kind of brilliance, right? Now, what's the risk of overthinking? Overanalysis can lead to a decision-making delay and missed opportunities. It's essential to find a balance between thorough investigation and timely action. You just cannot keep on evaluating only risk and saying, it's risky, risky, just hold on, hold on. You'll have to be, when you want to solve the problem, you'll have to get into action and learn from it. It's okay. But again, you shouldn't be a, learner again. You will have to be an executor and succeeding in that. So it's a one mistake learner. So you'll have to be proactive and agile in such a way that you're not going to do the same mistake. That is real problem solving. Mental exhaustion. Constant problem solving may cause burnout if not managed effectively. It's important to prioritize self-care, delegate tasks, and take breaks to avoid mental fatigueness. Okay. Lack of resources. Insufficient funding, personal and or access of information can hinder problem solving efforts. Okay. And maybe unclear problem definition. If you don't understand the exact problem, the real problem, the whole process is draining. It'll leave you to nowhere. So without clear understanding of the problems, and solutions may address the wrong issues or crucial aspects. Right? Resistance to change also. Some people won't get into this mode because they don't want change. Change disturbs them. They don't want to be coming out of their comfort zone. So individuals or team may resist if new ideas or solutions, leading to delays or implementation changes. Limited data availability, insufficient or unreliable data can make it challenging to make informed decisions and assess the effectiveness of solutions. Bias and assumptions. Personal biases or assumptions can cloud judgment and lead to, suboptimal solutions. That is also there. When you want to pick up a talent or when you're dealing with any decision making, it is not because you like that per client you're taking that call. It is not out of your impulsiveness, because you need to consider everybody, the employee morale, the policy, budget, long-term vision. So many things has to be considered. So you'll also have to question the assumption, which means when there is a change is proposed, or when you are going to both the ways, ideally, when somebody is telling you to do something, you might want to question that. At this point of time, younger generation, earlier when we were young, we were never asked, we were only taught not to ask back or talk back or question back. But now the decade is changing, the world is changing. We need to question back. Only then we can, reform something. At the same time, you should also allow people to question on the assumptions that you have. Maybe it's time for us to change. Maybe you will have to relook at the rigidity or the conventional method of doing. So it has to work both the ways. And external factors like economic downturns, regulatory changes, unexpected events, unforeseen challenges. You'll have to give in for that. Now tell me where it is applicable. Of course, as an entrepreneur, we are talking. But let's see what are the divisions in entrepreneurship that you need to apply this. First of all, financial management, identifying issues for cash flow problems or budget constraints. You need to clearly bifurcate that and analyze problems, consider alternate revenue sources or cost cutting measures, and implement solutions, diversifying income streams to optimize expenses. The best thing as an entrepreneur is to do is diversify your income or cash flow. It is important to all, not just have a passive income stream. It is also important to diversify your risk and investments in different areas, in different buckets, right? That's the first thing that we have to do when it comes to money management. Market competition problem solving, analyzing trends, studying the market trend, and customer behavior is equally important. And your own employee reviews and performance metrics, everything has to be considered, right? If you're a solo entrepreneur, it is only on your market and your customer behavior. But we have your team, we have a bigger team. It is also important to consider the in-house atmosphere. Identify opportunities, finding gaps in competitor offerings and service, pivoting strategies, adjust business approach to gain, you know, what is okay, like to gain that application, which means whether it is needed or not, right? Then tell me, now that you know it is important, you know if you don't have it, or you also know why you should not overdo on it. Okay. You will know where you can apply. There are other applicability area also, which I will discuss with you. But tell me, in your mind, where are those areas in personal? Okay. An entrepreneur is just not an entrepreneur for outside, right? You'll carry the same capacity into your homes also. But in the previous episode and in the future episode, we will clearly see how this problem solving works as a parent and as a family. But can you see the distinction? Because when you work as an entrepreneur, it is important your angle is different. It is when it's a family, it's only that familiar peoples and you know their patterns and behaviors. But when it is outside and as an entrepreneur, it is very diverse and unexpected. You just cannot read entirety. Even if you're working the entire lifetime, it's not possible to read the market. You will just have to adapt as and when it comes. There's a lot of subsets even before you want to solve the problem. And that is the reason I'm asking you to go through all the episodes. Be with me till the 100 episodes. You will know what are the subsets you need. Now, a little bit of action tips here and there, and then we will again go back to the applicability. Okay. Now, in my format of actionable tips, I will also mention which part of the brain that you're activating. Okay. The first one is breaking down problems. That is your logic brain. First is to analyze components. Divide larger issue into smaller and manageable parts. And then prioritize tasks. Address more critical aspects first. And tackle systematically. Solving each component methodically, it's important. and involves systems also, because system never fails. Creative thinking and problem solving, that's your right brain. Generating more ideas and options will let you be away from the risk. If you don't have, like I always say, if you don't have options when you're wanting to buy something and you don't find options, you are bound to take within that options, then it becomes very, it's not an effective solving problem. It'll again loop up into different other problems. And it's very suffocating for a person to decide also in this day and age. Even a child has so many options for snacks, simple snacks, right? So it is important at that level of an entrepreneur, when you're dealing with market and customer, you need to be able to generate ideas. You just cannot depend on the outside. You should have that ability. Emotional intelligence is more about within ourselves. How are we building all this? So you should be able to create multiple options, for which you need to brainstorm unconventional solutions to business challenges. You need to question assumptions, biases, and be able to actively listen people around you, so that you can brainstorm and consider their perspectives also. Only then creativity can happen. But creativity is not synonymous to only from your brain. Creativity is synonymous to super brain around you, including yours. Connect concepts, link seemingly unrelated ideas for innovative approach. That is also important. Doing a mind map to think radically or unconventionally, make sure that you just map them. May not be able to connect the dots immediately, but it'll definitely help. At least your awareness and mind has been expanded to that area, right? The reason why we were not able to be emotionally literate, because the education system, the people who derived the entire curriculum were not able to think beyond, maybe due to regulation, maybe due to external pressure. Their creativity could have been curbed. But imagine if Einstein had not expanded his awareness and mindset, we would have not got a lot of theory, solved. So it is important to go beyond your boundaries, to be able to question constantly at the same time, very healthy conflicts, a different way of thinking and accepting views, multiple views, and creating a multiple options. That is an effective, emotionally intelligent way to decide something on. And data-driven decision making. So how do you do this? You're going to collect the data, gather relevant information from various sources. You're going to analyze the trends. You're going to identify patterns and insights collected from it, and then be able to make informed decisions. Because if you don't have a data-backed insights, it won't have, data can also be emotions for that matter. So when I talk about data-driven, in EQ language, it is always not just logic, it is also emotional brain. Because at the end of the day, whenever you're taking high stake decisions, it always involves both facts and figures, at the same time people. Okay, when I say people, it could also be government, it could also be regulation, it could also be co-workers, your own family sometimes, right? And then turning setbacks into opportunity. Now this is clear shot, right brain. You are in adversity, maybe something would have gone wrong, it's not in your control, or with your own decision making, your own choices have gone wrong. But are you going to stick in that, get stuck there? Because market is changing, evolving. If you're in entrepreneurship, that is the reason small business owners, they don't have that resilience to bounce back, because they're not able to see that as an opportunity. They fizzle out. But people who sustain in the game for a long time, they know this game. They always look setbacks as opportunities, learn from the wisdom, and then move forward. So how are they doing? Couple of things. See, this entire session is a shorter version to be able to quickly enable you to adapt. But if I'm going to give you 100 different things, it's not possible to apply in 24 hours time. I told you the reason why we are learning something is to apply. If you're not applying, you just by knowing, what sound the violin is going to make or piano is going to make, it's of no difference. It's of no use if you want to become a musician. For you to become a, musician, to play on that, you need to be constantly playing also. You need to get into the game of playing it. Otherwise, you will just be an observer. Okay. You'll never become a musician. Similarly, you'll have to apply this. Only then you can become an emotionally intelligent person. Just by knowing, it's not going to come into your rescue when it's needed. So when you want to turn that, when you have the eyes of looking opportunistic, optimistic, right? That is one of the main skill in emotional intelligence. If you want to exercise the muscle of becoming optimism, um, it is important to look that as an opportunity. Your adversities has to be converted as an opportunities. I know it's tough, right? It's not logically sounding, but these are mental activities. That is why it's right brain. So you're going to reframe that challenge, view problems as potential growth of opportunities. And then you're going to learn from failures, right? You're going to reflect. There's more of a left brain and right brain. You're going to extract valuable lessons from unsuccessful attempts. More of a left brain because you're not going to get swayed by the emotion. You just cannot blame, criticize, or complain or get succumbed to saying, I'm best fit. Instead, you just learn from logically see what went wrong. See the real problem as a real problem. Adapt strategies. The moment you know some wisdom is coming out of it, you'll have to accept and adapt. You should be able to, bravely, fairly, honestly accept, take feedback, and then adapt it so that you can use these things to refine your setbacks and improve next business approaches or opportunities. Collaboration and problem solving will definitely help. I told you it's a super brain activity, okay? Just not from one brain. So team brainstorming will definitely help you give diverse options, perspectives for a creative solutions. Seeking mentorship will also help. Sometimes if you're working alone, if you're a mompreneur, digital mompreneur, where you don't have team or it could be a lean team, you definitely need a mentorship, your guidance, for your accountability. You may be a self-driven person, it's totally valuable, it's good, but we're all human at the end of the day. When there is a setback, for you to bounce back like a pro, watch the second episode in the series, you definitely need an external support. And that will be ideal if you have a coach or a mentor in that line, right? Because you just cannot seek for somebody to jump from the universe to help you exactly at that point in that area of life. Suppose you're a parent and you're wondering, like having a tantrum throwing child, and you're consistently into problem, you in your heart you cry out for a like-minded mom, right? And then you go for searching people around you. Sometimes the value mismatch can happen, the vibes won't set in, and then the problems, even though it's common, somebody will not expose, what do you call, openly talk. You get drained, and then you get succumbed with FOMO and all that. Instead, figure out who is teaching you that exactly, right? And then seek their mentorship. It should be a value exchange because with without money, it'll take years for somebody to come and help you, right? And without money, it's not going to be valuable for both of you. Even if they are available, a lot of people are ready to advise. But how many people are we actually listening? Despite of being, they may be experienced, they may be having a capacity to, they may be in that position to tell you because they've gone through, they could be convincing. But how many of us have taken that into consideration and applied in our life? Not all wisdom will be applied. Okay, we just listen, but then we're not taking action because we ourselves are not problem solvers sometimes because of all this rigidity. So it might as well want to leave that problem solving to the other person, for which there has to be a value exchange. And then figure out network insights. So leverage professional networks for problem solving skills. Resilience and problem solving. I told you, if okay, let's see what makes you resilient in problem solving, maintaining focus. Stay committed to finding solutions despite setbacks. Even if you are in after adversity, you just cannot sit and wait for solutions to come. You will have to act on it, especially when you are an independent um, mompreneur working digitally from home. We wouldn't have much help around. We will have a coach or mentor, but transaction has to happen from us. They can just show us the pond, right? With water. Sometimes you can outsource the work and get it done, but not all of them. You need to have this ability. As I told you in the beginning, it is just not entrepreneurial abilities. You will anyway be applying it everywhere. For which what you need, you'll have to maintain the focus. Stay committed to finding solutions. Don't go into the negativity loop, right? Whether it is from your own little voice or from other people's voice. Don't listen to them. Be able to adapt approaches. Be flexible and willing to try new methods because it didn't work earlier. You should be able to adapt and thrive. Persist through the challenges. Don't give up when initial solutions fail. Just stick with that. Your stickiness factors determines a lot of success, a lot of things about you. Okay. Now is the best part of it. So it's a case study. Whenever there is a skill here, we like to take a case study and we will pick up the famous personality so we can all relate. Of course, I told you there are real-time examples of people around us, right? But with this kind of case study, you'll be able to, relate it even more. And Henry Ford, the reason why we picked up is clear-cut problem solvers. Like Henry Ford, there are a lot of people, but let's see this example. His innovative problem-solving approach exemplified the principles of breaking down problems and data-driven decision-making. His introduction of the moving assembly revolutionized product efficiency by dividing tasks and assigning works, leading to increased speed and affordability. I still remember I read this example when I was in the eighth grade or ninth grade. So this particular production line had made a lot of study, and then they created a theory that, upon their observation and research, they understood that too many movements from their employees had drained their energy, was not needed. And in order to boost their productivity, they were making sure that they they made an infrastructure where there are no too many movements. The product line was so close to that employee so that their labor from the employee is not uh, maximum used. At the end of the day, their focus and energy can be, uh, you know, concentrated for multiplying the product line instead of wasting on their movement, right? So that is the reason I thought I'll pick this up as an example, which is actually revolutionized the entire automobility industry. So this implementation of standardized product parts simplified production, reduced downtime for repairs, highlighting his focus on continuous improvement and resilience. Now, with specific to Henry Ford here, generally in the manufacturing industry, there has been observation where to reduce the labor part of it. But with Henry Ford specific example here, there was a crisis where they had to transition from one line of production to another. That time, they innovated, they did an experiment, and they simplified a lot of production and reduced downtime of repairs because they applied the customer service where talking with their customers. So they not only logically derive from observing, analyzing what is happening in the production line, they also went on to talk to their customer service, to their customers, and understanding the 5 whys of what is happening right after they leave their cars for the repair and services, and then when they go back, why are they not coming back and all that, right? When they did this 5 why techniques, they could understand from their customer, and when they collect all the information from their customer and they were doing a 5 why techniques applied, they could go deep down into the root cause to find the real problem, and from there emerged creative solutions also. You see, both these were working together, not only relied on their real-time, moving parts, but also something to do creatively to think and analyze uh, in between transactions, which includes consideration of customer satisfaction level as well as the production level. So I thought this is a classic example to show how both the brains worked, right? And by recognizing that a happy and engaged workforce was a key to productivity, similarly, the employee satisfaction. Okay. The 5 why techniques was given as a case study in the previous episodes. I just want to combine and tell you they not only did this kind of productivity changes, but also to do with how creatively they were able to figure out their customer satisfaction. And they derived this 5 why technique, and they applied it in their company. But having said that, they implemented policies such as increased wages, reduced hours, on-site healthcare, demonstrating the importance of collaboration and ethical considerations in problem solving. Apart from that, they made automobile available to mass. That is the one line success story for Henry Ford. So it not only involves taking into consideration of only their production line or researches. They were also clearly an example of, you will know, when I speak about Henry Ford, I can also quote uh, those times Leonardo da Vinci with a lot of talents. Okay, and then at this point of time and with this industry, I cannot stop mentioning about two more personalities that I just love to watch and learn from them is Apple, Steve Jobs, and Elon Musk. Whether it is Leonardo da Vinci, Henry Ford, or Apple, Steve Jobs, and Elon Musk, now they were all really good with two brains, right? Two sets of brains. They take maximum juice of analytical thinking, thoroughly understanding the root cause of a problem before devising solutions. And their approach was always around the customer. It is not what they want to do. I mean, all of us as an entrepreneur, we all start with what we want to do. But if you want to sustain in the market, you will have to solve the problems of your customer. Okay, keep solving the problems. Only then the stickiness factors will remain. And creatively thinking, exploring innovative approaches beyond traditional solutions. Classic example of these both, right? They go beyond their boundaries. They question assumptions and biases and want to think differently and create differently, right? Adaptability, being flexible and willing to adapt strategies to as circumstances changes also. Collaboration, involving diverse perspectives and expertise to find the best solution, right? Having said that, what are we learning from them? So how are we going to develop problem solving skills? So you're going to practice regularly, tackle small challenges to build problem solving muscles. Okay, start with your family. If you don't have a team in your office or in your business line, it's okay. Tackle the customer's problem, take their pain points, take a list of 100 pain points and start looking at solutions to offer them. It's the same case with your family. When you start conversing with your child, instead of dismissing their assumptions or bias, or just think about, actively listen about their problems, whether it is um, the emotional problems or it is academic problems. Think and find the root cause, and then learn from others. Study successful entrepreneurs like this and their problem solving approach, because that's going to give you an exact idea because they've walked the path and something is working in them. So it's easier to adapt. Reflect on experiences, analyze past success and failures for insights, your own past success and failures. Because you may be having the ability in you already. You should be able to tap into, say, this is your strength and these are your areas of weakness. And for you to become problem solver, you should be able to leverage that strength and solve the problems where there are missing elements in you. Okay. And each and every stage you can challenge yourself and solve the problems. Problem solving and customer service, listening actively, understanding customer concerns thoroughly, and empathizing, genuine care for customer issues, offering solutions, provide creative resolutions to maintain customer satisfaction. And then what happens to technology? In this day and age, it's disruptive with AI intervention, right? You should be highly equipped with technology as well. But how do you solve problems with that? First of all, data analytics. You're going to use big time data. Big data is the key word here. Everything is data driven. And emotional intelligence, emotions or data. Okay. We just cannot miss the data given by emotions. That is going to give you trend, pattern, behaviors, approaches of people around you. In fact, your own self. If you don't understand your pattern, your trend, your emotional, the insights that is coming from you, you will not be able to read the same thing in others around you. The mission learning is one thing. What about the people learning? We are going to be not living isolated, right? We will have people. And that is why I'm doing what I'm doing. It is important, highly important, and it has become more demanding more than ever. Emotional intelligence has become 21st century, and right now it is needed for any age, any gender, any location. What about artificial intelligence? So leveraging AI for predictive problem solving and automation, streamlining process to prevent recurring problems. Okay. Problem solving in product development, identifying the need, recognizing the market gap and customer pain points, prototype, create that kind of a prototype. Maybe if you're a digital marketer, give them a freebie to take inputs from them, to if they're serving them, just take a testimonial, and then work around with for first 100 people, test the market and change your component of your website or landing page or your products, tweak your products accordingly, test it out in the market, and then stabilize that. Even after you stabilize 1 or 2 years, you should be able to reboot, change your model, you change your approach. In order to be thriving in the market, it is important to keep evolving. We never arrive in business, right? Even in life, we never arrive as a successful parent, right? Nobody can say, because at every stage of life, challenges are always there. Then iterate and improve, refine product based feedback and testing. Ethical considerations, okay, that is also important. What are you going to consider is stakeholders involved. So if evaluate impacts of all the solutions from all the parties involved. The same thing with family. Maintain that integrity. Choose ethical solutions even if they are not the easiest. I told you, you'll have to consider the long term and work reverse. Long term, finding long term solutions uh, it may be not interesting, not uh, you know, it's not exciting, it's not a trend, but it is important to understand that, and then your decisions should be aligned to that. Otherwise, you may be a problem solver for now, but if it's not a long term oriented, then it'll anyway come. So you're not a proactive problem solver. You are just solving the problem for the sake of right now to escape from it. The long term thinking is also important. Okay. And when you handle team, what are you going to solve? I mean, how problem solving is going to come? What are the dimensions? First is to have clear communication. Ensure your team understands problems and goals, so that you you know, ideally, if you want to be a smart problem solver, first rule is always remember how we can automate life and process. If you can make clear communication as a ritual, as a rule, then half the problem is solved, because your team will know what exactly you're doing. You will know what exactly you're doing. Your high stakeholders will also know. So that way, you're solving the problem of uncertainties halfway through, at least from your known sources. But if it's going to come from the outside control, I know, where you don't have a control, those sources, those are setbacks and adversities that you'll have to meet with. Okay. And you're going to encourage participation at every stage. You're going to involve team members in solution brainstorming. You see how you are sharing your burden and responsibilities. It's not only on you. If any business is dependent on you, it's not going to sustain. It can depend on systems and partially on you. But if it is only depending on you, it's not going to sustain. So, which means you will have to take into consideration of other people involved. If you're only a solopreneur, your system has to work for you. But you will have to consider your customer perspectives. If you don't have team, it's still okay, but you'll have to consider the customer's view. And as you grow, it is not possible to stay a solopreneur only. You will need a lean team at least a virtual assistant. In that case, you need to also take their participation. Recognizing contribution, acknowledge their efforts, and it is important to keep them, active, agile, and always become, encouraging them to participate in future, problem solving areas as well, because it is not a one time thing. Okay. Now, what are the metrics? How do you measure your problem solving success? One is time taken to resolution. How quickly problems are solved. That way you can consider your measure. Then customer satisfaction. Go back to the example that I told. How 5 I techniques were brought in. How solutions impact client happiness. Then you can work reverse also. Why are they not happy and what are your improvement area? If they are happy with your freebie or with your products, then you can improve on that. So that can also be metric. Then financial impact. Is there a cost savings? Is there a revenue increase? Increase generated by solutions. That is also solving problems. Maybe at the beginning stage, you may not have enough cash flow. That doesn't mean you're not solving problems. You may be saving, your cost. Maybe you are able to efficiently handle your budgets. That is still problem solving. It's the same thing for family. Okay. Problem recurrence rate. If often similar problems going to occur, even after a solution is implemented, then it's not working. It's not effectively solved. You remember I told you why it will come back? Because maybe long-term thinking has not been applied. Maybe you've not considered the parties involved in it. Maybe you've not applied critical thinking. If you want to watch more about critical thinking, watch the previous episode. Efficiency of solutions. How effective solutions address the root cause of the problem. Your solutions should not be only short term. It may take time, but it has to be effectively impacted. Otherwise, it's going to again come back. And then team collaboration. How effectively team works together to solve problems. Because it's a super brain effect. Innovation in solutions. How creative and unique the solutions are. That's where you stand out. Your unique proposition. Adaptability of solutions. How well solutions can be adapted to changing circumstances. And how efficiently resources are used also in the problem solving skills. While you're solving problems, you just cannot eat up your resources. Resources can be time, effort, energy, money, people, or your own ideas. Okay? Everything is important. All right. And then continuous improvement in problem solving. So you're going to review the past solutions and analyze the effectiveness of previous problem solutions as well. You're going to identify the patterns, recognize recurring issues of successful approaches and refine strategies so that you can continuously solve problem. You will get into the mode of problem solving techniques based on the insights. As and when you get, there's only going to be improving. There's never going to be mastery. And after that, you say, okay, if I just look at things, I can solve problems. It's never going to be that way because we are in the day and age where it's fast paced and highly competitive and highly evolving. We need to have the skill exercised every day at a very functional stage. You just cannot dismiss because you've attained the mastery experiences. Everything has been successful so far. You never know. Sometimes pandemic could be a very shocking thing. The whole world suffered. The whole world has to get into an innovation mode after that. And after that, the world is not same. Okay. We never arrive. All right. Now, in case you want to go dwell more on this and want to learn more deeper on problem solving skills for entrepreneurs, I can help you with a couple of ways. One, I'm going to teach brain skills secrets as my masterclass. Okay. There will be a link given in the description. Register for that. The moment I announce that, you will get a notification and jump in. This is exclusively for women, busy moms, where I'll teach you 3 secrets to approach your brain skills activation. Of course, this entire series, if you walk with me for 100 days, you will get to know the tricks and techniques. But if you want to fast track and you want to learn, come and join my community. In this masterclass, I'll tell you how you can join my community and also give you some tips. I'll also open up the sample reports for you so you will know exactly why I'm talking about left brain and right brain and what are the sample reports tells you. And then I'll also give you awareness quiz bundles to test you immediately, your current skills. You can even, as an entrepreneur, you can test yourself whether you have those problem solving skills already in you. Okay. It'll be fun and interesting because a lot of options, tricky options will be given and you can choose to see what scores you're getting. Your score or your personalized summary is for you. It won't be visible for even for me. You register your email ID and it will come on to you. Like that, 30, 40 skills you will be having quizzes for lifetime access, but it is for cost. I'll tell you, you can get it for free because you have been listening to this podcast or episode for a long time. And if you can share top 3 insights from you, I'll give it to you free of cost. I'll email the 100% free coupon code and you can access it anytime. Okay. With that, also subscribe to my YouTube channel so that the live notification will come on to you and you can jump in anytime. And all these YouTube live will be taken as a download and courses. After that, it'll be taken down. So watch and practice as I travel through 100 days. Okay. Make use of it and share your learnings, top 3 learnings, and win the 100% free coupon code. This is also coming on as a podcast to you in Spotify. Register for that, subscribe for that so that you can listen on the fly, on the go. And as a Substack articles, it's coming as a Storyfy format, all for you. So subscribe and make use of all these free resources. Until I see you tomorrow, stay resilient, stay emotionally cautioned, stay emotionally EQ'd, and also try implementing this problem solving skills within 24 hours. That will reinstate your learnings. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.